What's going on, guys? One love out to everybody. Bellator 261, Johnson versus Moldavsky. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Breakdown predictions here, guys. Also check out my Patreon account for all the weigh-ins and also the breakdown combination plays. Okay? Enough respect to the guys who have subscribed already to my Patreon account. And for the other people, just go over there and subscribe, man. I have a lot of good stuff over there. And sometimes my predictions on my main channel, yeah, it's good. But sometimes I have to make changes. Depends on the face-off. You know what I'm saying? I may see something a little different. There's sometimes, you know, some plays I'm not too sure with. I might have to go the other direction. All right? So you guys can check that out. Also, on the Patreon account, I will be categorizing each play. So if I have a face-off, it would just be one face-off sheet with all my face-off plays. Okay, I could have more than one face-off plays, guys. Okay, I could have 3 different type of plays, like 3 different type of 10 plays, or 3 different type of 12 plays, depending on how many fights are on the card. Which the combination plays would be a separate sheet. Which the combination plays are like a 5-play, 4-play, 3-play, 2-play, 8-play, and etc. Okay, so that would be separated and categorized on top, right? So you would see there is a weigh-ins and it's a combination plays, and then that would be the ones that you go and use or whatever you want to do with it. Okay, so let's jump into this card, guys. We got 10 fights in this card. It's not a bad fight card. Like I said, man, enough respect to all these guys who are fighting in this game. It's a dangerous sport. Your health is your wealth. So all these guys, you know, they put the training in, they come in here and they fight, and that's what they do, right? So first fight here, we got John Teshura versus John D. Jesus. Macapá. So John Teshura here, BJJ black belt. I feel that John is a little more experienced here, but he hasn't fought since 2019 though. Okay, his last loss was to Asakura. Okay, his striking gets wild at times. He looks to counter, but he throws a lot of volume though, man. And he throws a lot of volume coming forward. That's one thing I noticed about this guy. Also, like I said, he's a BJJ black belt. So I believe most of his finishes are by submission, I believe. Could be wrong about that. And I will be going back and forward, guys, from Sherdog to Topology. And also I'm going to give you guys the odds. I'm going to take a look at the odds real quick to see. And then, you know, I'll tell you if it's too high or too low or whatever like that. Okay. Let's see. I believe most of his wins are by submission. I could be wrong about that. Yep, 10 by submission. Okay. His opponent here, he's Zeus. We've seen him fought. His last fight was against Pico, and he got knocked out in that fight. Pretty bad knockout, man. Yep, he got knocked out in that fight with overhand, right? Zeus here, he's gonna have the 2-inch of height, right? And he's gonna have a 7-inch of reach, which is massive. Like I said, man, your reach and your height, you know, if you have a good reach and height, man, you should be already winning the fight. You know, just that alone, you should win the fight already. So he has a massive reach advantage there. He's light on his feet. He's a very athletic guy with jump with flying knees. He's quick. He fights long, but he can get tied up during the clinch, right? And he can also get taken down, right? And sometimes he kind of waits a lot because he's looking for openings, which there's nothing wrong with that. He's looking to counter. He waits a lot. And when he waits a lot, he's not throwing enough volume. So if you have a guy like Teshura who's coming forward, or Macapá who's coming forward, he's going to be throwing more volume. But the only thing here is that Zeus, he's very athletic, and he has that. He has some slick moves in him, some flying knees. He has some washi-geris. He throw for the back leg. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of tricky. Then he has a straight down the pocket, so he could catch Teshura with a punch or a kick or a knee. You know, it's possible, and it's possible in the sport. Like we see here with Macapá here, he lost to MCKEE by KO by punching, you know. But as MCKEE though, I feel MCKEE is on a different level than John Jesus, right? So for this one here, man, this is not a confident one because, like I said, the Zeus could surprise you, man. The guy is athletic, and I mean, if he look for the opening and land that one shot, you know, he could knock out Teshura, right? It's a possibility. But I'm going to go with MACAPA, with John MACAPA Teshura for the win here. And I'm going to say by John Teshura by submission, guys. Okay? Not confident in this one. This is a play where, like I said, if you sign up to my Patreon account, I could have the Zeus winning on a different play. Okay? So, but I'm going with John Teshura for this one. Just experience, the ground game, and the volume. So, John Teshura by submission, guys. All right? Next fight here, Taylor Johnson versus Lance Wright. Taylor Johnson here, wrestling base, will look for takedowns. He can get taken down though, and his striking can get wild at times, man. We saw him here on the contender series against Andre Muniz. Lost by rear naked choke, but losing to Andre Muniz is, I'm saying, it's not a bad thing because the guy been looking good in UFC. He hasn't lost it in UFC, right? Win his contender series actually twice, 18 and in 2019, and also inverted armbar on Ronaldo Soja, right? Actually broke his arm. I think that's the first time Soja has ever been submitted. Yep. So, yeah, so Johnson here is more of a wrestler, and he will go in there and throw some punches, throw some kicks. His opponent there, though, Wright. All of Wright fights are by submission, if I'm correct about that. So take a look here. All his wins are by submission. He doesn't show much striking, and the striking that I see from him, it's man, it need work. Like I said, I'm not here to beat down these guys. I'm not here to talk crap. I'm just here to analyze, break them down, because you know what I'm saying, I'm experienced in this. I know what I see. I've been doing this for a long time, so I know what I'm talking about. So striking need work, man. He just looks for mainly the takedowns, and sometimes he would just drop straight down with his back and try to get the leg, which is not a good double or single leg takedown. You know what I mean? So his defense, like I said, defense, his striking, stand up need work, man. Doesn't take his head off center line. He can also get scrambled on in the wrestling department. So he will be on the ground, and so like if he gets you down, you can reverse on him. I believe his fight here against Charles, he got an undercutter choke on him, right? He just seems a little bit like he's still learning, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. That's part of the game, you know. No disrespect to the guy, you know. Just that's part of the game, you know. You got to start from somewhere. You got to build yourself up. So, because I feel like he's still learning, and I feel, you know, with a guy like Johnson, I just feel like Johnson is a little more experienced than him, and I feel Johnson's a better wrestling. And I believe Johnson has a better striking, right? I just believe that Wright is just, his head is straight up. He's still working on the striking. His takedowns are not that great, but if he gets it down, he will look for the submission. Taylor Johnson has been submitted one time, right? He also has won by submission and last been submitted. So this fight here, man, it could be a toss-up because, like I said, you know, Wright I don't feel he's that experienced, and Taylor is just kind of coming up. It's a slight little better. So for this fight here, man, I'm going to push towards Taylor Johnson for the win here. And I'm going to say Taylor Johnson by KO TKO. I just feel like he's a more aggressive guy, more forward, push forward. His wrestling's a little more cleaner, and his striking's a little more cleaner. But again, it's a risky one, okay? But Taylor Johnson for the win, guys, by KO TKO. Next fight here, Jaylon Bates versus Cody Matthews. Bates here, he has a wrestling base. He will definitely look for the submission. He's big for this weight class, for the 136. He says 5'9", but I think it's like 5'10". So he's massive for this weight class. 73-inch reach. He's very aggressive, ground and pound, very aggressive. He's very athletic, and he's gonna have a 7 inches of height. So his opponent here, I believe, is what? His opponent here is 5'3". Okay, so his opponent here, Matthew Matthews a wrestling base too, but I feel Bates is the better wrestler here. Both guys are kind of new to the pro, so they may be still slightly a little green here. I feel like Bates should be able to can handle this. Matthews will come in and throw some strikes, but his strikes can get wild, a lot of looping shots, throws a lot of leg kicks. Bates will strike with you too, but I just feel like the better wrestler here, man, is going to be Bates, man. So, and this fight is going to go to the ground. I don't feel like Bates may strike with him too much because this guy is kind of wild. Cody throws out of overhands, looping, and it's kind of wild, and it doesn't take much to knock somebody out. Punch to the jaw, you get knocked out. Like I said, your jaw not meant to get hit. Your face is not meant to get hit. You don't want to get hit in the face. You want to avoid taking damage. Like I said, guys, you do the hitting and avoid getting the hits. Right? That's just basically it. You want to avoid getting hit to the head. The more you get hit to the head, the more damage you're going to get over your years, short-term, long-term damage. And a lot of guys who get consistently hit to the head also messes up your mental state. Can make you go crazy too. Make you start doing things that you never used to do. Like a lot of the fighters out there. I'm not going to mention any names, but like I said, it's a dangerous sport and it's not about banging. If you're going to play, you better play safe. Because it's your life, it's your health you're dealing with. But I like Bates here. I feel like he's a better wrestler here. And coming from American Top Team, he should be able to beat this guy. All right, so I'm going to go Bates by decision, because Matthews is a pretty tough guy, man. So, but I must say Bates by decision, though. All right. Next fight here, Isa Hokit versus Corey Samuels. Hokit here, man, he's unranked. He doesn't have any amateurs, nothing. I looked him up though. He's a NCAA football player. So it's like he's kind of known in the college leagues there in football and also known in wrestling. Like he's a good wrestler, right? So it's like an athlete, like an all-around athlete. He does everything. Yeah, so his opponent here, Corey Samuels. Corey Samuels, man, it's a short notice for him, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, I believe it's a short notice, right? Yep, it was supposed to be Aaron Hughes and Corey Samuels just came in at the last minute. The thing about this fight here, man, you know, with Bellator and a lot of other leagues, UFC and stuff like that, sometimes they will match guys up, you know, with certain fighters, you know, because they want a specific guy to win. So I believe they're giving Hockett a win here. Because I watched Corey Samuels fight and he can't stop takedowns for nothing. He cannot stop a takedown, dude. And when he gets taken down, he's laying his back for the whole entire round. And if you look at his record here, it's you know, 0-1, 1-1, 1-0. Just all of amateurs. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's 1 in 9 in his amateurs. I mean, like I said, that's part of the game. No disrespect to the guy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's trying. You know what I'm saying? It's not an easy sport to get into. But I'm just reading facts from what I see, from what the facts they're giving here. You know? So I'm just breaking down the guy, but matching him up with Hockett here. Hockett doesn't have any fights. So in common sense would tell you, you know, the guy with the more experience is going to be Samuels, you know, regardless of his losses. You understand? At least he's been in there and he's been playing the game. But he can't stop takedown though. And I looked at Hockett a little bit of wrestling. His wrestling is not bad. This guy is a good wrestler, and he's an athlete, and he just needs to get a takedown. Let me see here. Samuel's striking. It's elusive. It's you know, he throws wild, but again, you know, it's not pinpoint accurate. You know what I'm saying? It's not pinpoint accurate. So, and his fight here, he got disqualified because I guess the guy, what the guy did? I think the guy hit him back of the head or something like that. And it seems like he may want to pull off a submission. You know, I mean, it looks like that's what his only win really is by submission. So I mean, It's a fight where Hockett doesn't really have any fight record, but again, with Bellator, they will put fights together to where they want the guy to win. That's just what it is. So for this one here, man, I'm gonna go Hokit, but I mean, I would be very careful, or I wouldn't mess with it at all, because both these guys you just don't know. I mean, with Corey Samuels, you know, I mean, can't stop takedown, but it is what it is. But I'm gonna go Hokit for decision, guys. All right. Next fight here, we got Søren Bak versus Bobby Lee. Bak here has a wrestling base. His striking is still in the works. Kind of stiff with the movements. His head is kind of high up. But his wrestling is very strong, though. He has a strong wrestling base, right? And a heavy ground and pound. But striking, though, if he's tying up with a guy who can strike and he wants to push striking and that's it, he could be in problems. If he's using his striking now to go for his wrestling, then that's a whole different thing. I mean, when I see his wrestling is very good, okay. But if you want to use his striking to set up his wrestling, then then I would understand. I'd be like, okay, right? His opponent here, Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee is going to be the better striker here, man. Spinning back kicks, sliding his foot. He knows how to set up the techniques from the outside. He knows his distance on the range. He will also look for takedown because I believe he has a wrestling base on him too. But he can get submitted and he can get taken down. Okay, so just as much as he will go for takedowns, he can also get taken down too. But his striking, when matching up with Søren Bak, his striking is going to be way better than Søren's striking. Okay, he's been submitted twice. Søren has 6 by submission, so usually he would take it to the ground because that's his thing, and he will look for submissions. If he's gonna stand with Bobby Lee, though, it's not gonna be good. I mean, I wouldn't advise him to do that. I advise him to use his striking to set up for his takedowns. Yeah, so for this one here, man, I just feel like the more grindy, better wrestler, in my opinion. I feel like it's gonna be Søren Bak, but it depends on the game plan. So I'll be careful with this one, because if he goes in there and try to strike and he's not really pushing wrestling or takedowns, he could get finished in this fight. Bobby could win the fight. Okay, so this is a fight where I'll be careful with it. And also, Bobby also has wrestling. So I mean, if he's unable to take down Bobby, which most of Bobby fights I see him getting taken down, but if he's unable to take down Bobby and the fight the fight stays standing up, then Bobby Lee gonna win, because Bobby Lee, in my opinion, has a better striking, man. So be careful with this one. It all depends if Søren can implement his game plan, which he should be able to, and push for takedown, push for takedown, push for takedown, grind. So I'm gonna go with Søren Bak for the win here, and I'm gonna say Søren Bak by submission, guys. All right. Next fight here, Christian Edwards versus Simon Bayong. This is our next short notice fight here. It's supposed to be Parrish, but Parrish withdrew. Christian Edwards here, he trains out of Jackson there. He's gonna... Actually, I was making this breakdown for Parrish and Edwards. So my notes may be a little bit off here. Christian Edwards here, he has decent striking, man. His technique is not bad. Very accurate knees, elbows. Got a left Moashigeri on him there. Got takedown defense, is okay. He can get taken down though, but he seems pretty well rounded, man. And he will also look for the submission, man. Against the opponent here, Simon is going to have the height over him. I think by 2 inch of height, I believe, or 1 inch. He's gonna have 1 inch of height, but Edwards is gonna have 4 inch of reach. All right, I believe, yeah. Simon is 7'4". Okay. Simon seems physically strong, man, and he will push, and he will also look to take you down and ground and pound you. His ground and pound seems strong. Like I said, he seems physically strong, right? He's a big, he's tall guy, man. But Edwards is going to have a 4 inch of reach over him. And he's a heavy hitter whenever he can land, but he's slow at the movement though. His technique comes out slow. Edwards is going to be the quicker guy here, and in my opinion, the more sharper technique, the more crisper technique, right? Like I have my notes. He's going to have the crisper technique, and he's going to be a quicker guy. So I'm kind of liking Edwards for this one. It's also a short notice, and I just feel like if I'm watching Simon fight, you know what I'm saying, he's decent, you know, but his movement is slow, and his technique seems like it needs, you know, a little more work. You know, with Edwards, you know, seemed like he'd been putting a lot of work training at Winklejohn, and he's sharp. He's very accurate, man. His technique is like pinpoint. He's like a bullet. He's even his Mwashigari, the left Mwashigari, it's like a bullet, and it's accurate, and he's quick. His timing, speed, and his distance range management is very good. So, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying, for a young cat that's coming up, learning, it doesn't look bad, man. So, I'm gonna push more towards Edwards for the win here. I'm gonna say Christian Edwards by. Didn't have a finisher. I had a finish for him and Parrish. I'm gonna say Edwards by KOTQ, guys. All right, KOTQ. I'm not confident in that one because both guys are tall, pretty much the same height. The reach go to Edwards, but again, anything's possible in this game, man. I mean, just take one punch and that's it, or one kick. But I like Edwards though, and I'm gonna say Edwards by KOTQ, guys. Okay. Next fight here, we have Myles Jury versus Sidney Outlaw. Myles Jury, BJJ black belt, very well rounded, UFC vet, very experienced guy, man. I mean, stand up, he's good, he's grown, BJJ black belt, fought a lot of guys in the UFC, lost a lot of good guys too. Now he's at Bellator. His opponent here is Sidney Outlaw. He's well-rounded too, has a wrestling base, but I feel Jury is a little bit more seasoned than Sidney Outlaw. Not taking anything away from Sidney Outlaw, he's a good fighter. I just feel like Jury is just a little bit more experienced, more seasoned fighter, right? Sidney is also a BJJ black belt too. So this one could be an even one. And, you know, we see with Sidney Outlaw, he gets flash knockouts. Like, the punch kind of glance him on top of his head and he can go down. It doesn't really take much. Like I said, it doesn't really take much for you to get rocked or on days in a fight, right? You've been knocked out twice. So, his last knockout was Michael Chandler, but that's Michael Chandler, a very experienced guy too, right? Marjorie been knocked a couple of times too, I believe. Knocked out one time, I believe that was by Darnell Cerrone, I believe. I went to a decision with Darnell Cerrone. It was by Chad Mendes. Yeah, but with Sidney Outlaw, I noticed, man, if you touch him, he can go down. He can get hurt. And when it comes to the wrestling, I feel like Myles Jury wrestling is kind of underrated. Myles Jury has decent wrestling, man. Might as be as good as Sidney wrestling, and you know, both at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But I feel Jury striking is a little better, man. It's a little more technical, right, and a little more pinpoint accurate. I feel with Outlaw, he gets wild at times, and he's gonna push for wrestling, push for wrestling. I feel Myles Jury has all that, so it's like I don't really see much weakness in Jury, but I see weakness in Outlaw. You know what I'm saying? In like certain, like the flash knockdowns, if you get touched, he may go down. You know, the striking, I would go to Jury for the striking. The wrestling, it could be even. The BJJ, it could be even. So I'm liking Jury for this one, guys. All right, I'm gonna say Jury by KOTKO. Okay, not confident. Next fight here, we got Daniel Welch versus Keoni Diggs. Daniel Welcher is a very well-rounded guy. He loves the ground though, and he will look to submit you. He has a lot by submission, man. this may be Diggs' toughest fight so far. Welch is also a BJJ black belt. Let me see what I have here. Diggs, in my opinion, has the better striking though. Because when I look at Daniel Welch, sometimes, you know, he looks kind of stiff and like his head is kind of up in the air. And when he's throwing his techniques, it's like it's not flowing. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of slow at the movement too. Ground could be even though with Diggs, because Diggs' ground game doesn't look bad. And like I said, with Welch doesn't move his head off the center line. Just his whole around striking is just, I mean, it's there, but at times it just doesn't look good, like in his last fight against Emmanuel Sanchez, even though that's Emmanuel Sanchez, a very experienced guy. But we look at Diggs here. Diggs is kind of, you know, he's kind of new to the game in a sense. Got to pro 2014. Well, yeah, I mean, and then amateur 2007. I mean, yeah, so he's been in there for a little while, just haven't been fighting much. So yeah, he's been here for a little while. I mean, but Welch gonna have the more experience as far as fights, you know, even losses. Diggs, man, I'm pretty impressed with Diggs, man. He kind of reminds me of cross between BJ Penn and a Robbie Lawyer, man. Has that kind of BJ Penn. He has that stand up like what BJ Penn used to have, a prime BJ Penn, and he has a stand up like what Robbie Lawyer have too, and then he has the ground game like what BJ Penn has. It's kind of similar in a kind of way. The prime BJ Penn and the prime Robbie Lawyer, right? Let me see. He would look to take you down and look for the submissions too, right? He got 6 by submission. His ground game, like I said, it looks legit, man, and his cardio looks good. He could be a blue belt or a purple belt, from what I've seen. I saw him with a blue, but that was like a little earlier in the months or years, so it could be purple belt now. But like I said, this guy is pretty legit, man. I'm pretty impressed with his movement, his distance management, the way how he strikes, and his combinations, what he throw. Just use the hands set up the kicks, his takedowns, his scrambling, his endurance, his heart. I'm kind of impressed with it, man. I mean, Welch is a good guy too, but man, I mean, from what I've seen from both guys, and then this fight against Derek Campos, I mean, he submitted him by rear naked choke. I mean, the guy looked pretty legit to me, man. So I'm liking Leon Diggs. I mean, it could be a very close fight because you're talking about experience here. But and this is a confident one for me, man. I know the guy is only 9-0, no, but you can see he's been doing it for a while, just that he hasn't been fighting a lot. And from what I see from footages, from videos, and just everything I've seen from both techniques and everything like that, and the way how they move and scrambling and striking, I would have to go towards Diggs, and it's a confident play for me. This is one confident play, and I must say Diggs by KOTQ, guys. All right. I feel like even if he takes this fight to the ground, you know, he could still last. And with Daniel Welch doesn't really shoot like that for takedowns. He's usually trying to like drop down. He's not like a guy that's going to wrestle, grind. He will stand up with you and try to strike. And if he does that against Leon Diggs, Leon Diggs is a little more craft in the foot. He's a little more technical in the foot. You know what I'm saying? So I'm liking Diggs for this one. And 5, 10, 7, I believe they're pretty much even on height and reach. Cause that plays a big 5. Okay, yeah. Diggs gonna have the inter reach there. So Diggs by KOTQ, guys, and confident for this one. Next fight here, we got Liz Carmouche versus Kana Wannabe. Liz, UFC vet, very experienced, well-rounded wrestling, BJJ. I mean, fought Ronda Rousey back in the days, Misha Tate. I mean, she's been there, man. And now she's in Bellator. Her opponent here, what? I'm just going to say Kana what? Or what? Judo base here. Her striking needs a lot of work. Like I said, I'm not here to disrespect any one of these fighters, but the striking needs a lot of work, man. I mean, she would run towards you and try to grab you with one hand, and the other hand is like down and her face is open, and like there is no, there's no technique to close the distance. There's no footwork for her to close the distance to implement the judo. She's just trying to walk you down and try to grab onto you to maybe throw you or whatever or sweep you. Right? So while she's doing that, her head is straight up and she's getting hit with punches. She can't do that with Liz Carmouche because Liz Carmouche is too experienced for that. Right? She doesn't move her head off center line. She relies heavily on her wrestling, on her judo. But she's persistent though, and she will keep pushing, and she will eat shots just to get her takedowns. She's a grinder, but like I said, man, with Liz Carmouche, I mean, Watt has big holes in her game, a lot of holes, and Liz is too experienced. If Liz watch footages or her trainers watch footages on her and watch footages on Watt, they will see, yo, her head is straight up, yo, she's just walking towards you like a zombie walking towards you, heads down. Even if it gets into the wrestling part of the game, I believe Liz Carmouche can even hang with her with the wrestling, even submit her. So, I mean, it's just too much holes with Watt. There's too many holes, man, and Liz is too experienced for that. Watt would have to just grind her out, take her down, which is possible. I mean, she could grind and take her down, but then there's point A to point B. And for her to get to point B, she's going to have to move towards her and kind of use her footwork to get to where she needs to get to. And while she's doing that, Liz is going to be using her footwork, which Liz move around a lot, laterally circular. And what I saw from her last fight, she looks real good. And she'll be popping jabs, popping straights, sidestepping. And Watts is going to be just trying to just grab her and take her down. There won't be no setup. She needs a setup. She needs a feint or something. She needs some kind of movement, some kind of striking. And I just don't see it happening. So I like Liz for the win here, man. Again, I could be wrong, man, but that's what I see. So more experience, all around well-rounded person is Liz. Kana Watt is not well-rounded. She relies a lot on her wrestling and judo, and her striking needs a lot of work. That's just basically it. So I like Liz for the win. I'm going to say Liz by KO/TKO, and that's a confident play, guys. All right. We got Tim Johnson versus Valentin Moldavsky. I know I mispronounced that. Tim Johnson, UFC vet, been in the game for a while. Fought Czech Congo, Matt Mitron back in the days. Also fought Czech Congo twice, actually, in Bellator. Okay. Marcelo Gome in UFC. Alexander Volkov. Fought a couple of guys. Marcin Tybura. Been in UFC for a little while. From 2015, I was in Bellator. He's pretty well rounded. His striking is kind of unorthodox, kind of tricky with it, man. He will hit you from different angles, like what we saw with when he fought Tyrell Fortune. He just kind of fake with that straight and then come over the top, bam, heavy. He's a heavy hitter, man. He's gonna have 2 inches of height in this fight and 3 inches of reach, and he carries a lot of weight on him though. Carries a lot of weight. A lot of weights is 260. I think the weigh-ins are done already. So I think that's what he weighs now at 260. All right. But he's a grinder though, man. This guy, he's crafty. He's sneaky. He's sneaky, man. And he will hit you from different angles. There's sometimes it doesn't look too technical, but he catches you though. All right. And like I said, he's a big heavyweight guy, freaking putting his body behind those punches. And if your chin is there, and punch you don't see coming, unexpected technique is the one that knocks you out, man. So catches you off guard. There's no time for you to defend or move out the way, or even brace for it. He has 3 by submission and 8 by knockout. Right? His opponent here, Valentin. Valentin, he's a grinder, man. Grinder. Judo, sambo base. So with sambo, sweeps, throws, striking, combination of everything, right? He will look for takedowns and submission. He will look to strike depending on the opponent, right? So depending on the opponent he's fighting, he will stay out there and strike with you and just carry on striking and then go for takedowns. Against Johnson, he may not do that though. I feel like in this fight, he's going to use that clinching game, like what he did to Roy Nelson. So what he's going to do is going to clinch up with Johnson, hold him against the cage, kind of wear him down a little bit, wear him down. He's going to push for takedowns, which Johnson can get taken down, but Johnson will pop back up though, because Johnson does have a wrestling base. So he would try to wear you down. Then he will go from 0 to 100 with striking. So all of a sudden, you just start striking with your bam 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 line, just 0 to 100, right? Like I said, Timothy's a very experienced guy, and the guy has power, man, and these are both heavyweights. Valentin coming way lighter, 234, almost 20 odd pounds difference, right? Timothy has a chance to win because experience and everything like that. But what I see from Valentin here, Valentin, as long as he doesn't get caught with a punch or he doesn't get put in his back and get mounted, he should win the fight. Because if Johnson mounts him, he's going to let go on him. And if Johnson catches him with a punch, he could get knocked out. And that goes for any fighter. It's a heavyweight fight. So anything is possible. It's a 5-round fight too. But if Valentin pace himself, grind, avoid the overhands, the takedowns, he could win this fight. Do I feel Tim have a chance? Hell yeah. He's an experienced guy, man. He does have a chance. But I'm going to go with Valentin for the win here. And I'm going to say Valentin by decision, guys. And like I said, man, with these fights on these cards, anything is possible. So whatever you're doing with my picks, it's on you. Nothing guaranteed here. Sign up for my Patreon account. I will have different plays on there. You guys can, if you guys are, I'm not promoting any betting, but whatever you guys are doing, you guys can try those plays out and see what happens. But nothing is guaranteed. And I will leave it separate. I will leave one for weigh-ins and one for combination plays. And combination plays are based on like different kind of parlays. You know, I could have a 3 parlay, 5 parlay, 6 parlay, right? You just play the entire 10, or you can just play the singles or whatever you want to play. It's all up to you, whatever you want to do. I'm not telling you to do anything. You do what you need to do and what you feel safe doing. You use your own mind, use your own thoughts, right? You think for yourself. I'm just giving you information and you do your own research, okay? So that's basically it, guys. I will be leaving face-offs, like I said, in the combinations on my Patreon account. I'm going to be dropping the UFC maybe tonight. And, oh yeah, I'm going to look at the odds for you guys. Let's check these out and see what these guys are looking like. Bellator odds here. Okay, Zeus, Teshura. Teshura is negative 225. I don't agree with that. And the reasons for that because Zeus is going to have a massive reach. And Zeus is very athletic. And I feel like his striking is a little better. It's just that he has low volume though. So I would say this fight should be a little more close to even. But I can see John Teshura winning though. But it should be more close to even though. Johnson and Wright. 275. Yeah, I can see Johnson being 275 here. Because if you look at Wright, from what I see, his technique is kind of green, man. He's look like he's still learning. So I don't see anything wrong with Taylor John being 275. All right. Cody Matthews, John Bates, Jaylon Bates negative 450. That's kind of high, but I can see Bates winning this fight. Coming from a better camp, I can see him winning, but it's still high though. But I can see him winning though. Holt versus Samuels. Holt is negative 6. I disagree with that, man. Totally. This fight here should be majorly even, and the reasons for that because Hockett doesn't have any amateur fights or any pro MMA fights. The person that should be our favorite is Samuels, even though Samuels can stop takedown, but Hockett is coming from football and a wrestling base, so I guess they're banking on that. But I totally disagree with this one. So this fight here, guys, like I told you, I would probably leave it alone or go underdog. I mean, if you want, right? Bak versus Bobby Lee. Søren Bak is negative 300. I disagree with that one because Bobby Lee has wrestling and he has a ground game and he also has striking, and his striking is better than Søren Bak. And if Bak struggles with the takedowns and can't take down Bobby Lee, Bak would be in problems. So this fight should be an even fight. A negative 300, I disagree. So be careful with this one. Sidney Outlaw, Myles Drew. Wow, Myles Drew is underdog. Really? Myles is an underdog? What? Hold on. He's an underdog? I disagree with that, man. Totally disagree with that. No, I mean, Sidney Outlaw, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Sidney Outlaw is a good fighter, but I feel the Jury is just way more experienced. He's way more experienced in the wrestling. Well, he's more experienced in striking. The wrestling could be even, and BJJ black belt. Both are BJJ black belts. I disagree with this, but I guess underdog for Jury. I mean, I have Jury winning, so I guess an underdog play wouldn't be bad, right? So hey, it is what it is. But I disagree with the odds in here. I don't think Outlaw should be a favorite, but Jury underdog, that's great. Okay. Daniel Welch versus Diggs. Okay, they're seeing what I see here. So this fight is you can say is a close to even fight, which it should be more even, but it's, I mean, it's there. I'm saying it's not like, Diggs is like a high favorite, or, so it's good. Okay. Liz Carmouche, Kana. Yeah, I could see Liz Carmouche being a higher favorite, but I mean, it's good. I mean, at 225 is good. This fighter, I guess, they have Edwards at 185. Yeah, that's good. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Timothy Johnson, Valentin, negative 300. Wow. You have Johnson as an underdog. I disagree with that, man. Johnson is a very experienced guy. And he has wrestling, and he has power in his punches, and he's a heavyweight. His fight should be even, guys. So when I see this, man, you be very careful. Like I said, I will have different plays. I will have different plays, different combination plays, parlay. You know what I'm saying? From the face-off too, which I'm going to watch, and I'm going to upload that to my Patreon. So I'm going to watch that in a little bit and see what the guys look like. So, but I disagree with this one. The Johnson and Valentin, I disagree with that. I disagree with the Jury and Outlaw. I don't feel like Jury should be an underdog, but I guess I'm picking Jury as, I guess, an underdog is great. Bobby Lee and Søren Bak, I disagree with that. The Samuels and Hockit, I just totally disagree with that. Jaylon Bates, okay, that's cool. And Taylor Johnson's, okay, that's fine. And Teshura and Zeus, I'm kind of iffy about that one, so be careful. I mean, Teshura should win, but punches chances there, man, for John Jesus, or a flying knee, or a head kick or something. Got to reach, so be careful with this one. So that's about it, guys. Like I said, check out my Patreon. I will have all my other plays on there, and I'm gonna work on the UFC. And yeah, man, you guys keep on kicking. One love out to everybody. Enough respect to everybody, enough love to everybody. All the guys that signed up to my Patreon account, enough love out to you guys. You guys know who you are. And